The transition to renewable energy is at the centre of all plans to tackle global warming. Pascal Radue is the CEO of GE Hydro Solutions. I asked him to explain the part that hydropower can play.
I think, hydropower has a critical role, and basically generally renewable has a critical role to play in this mitigation of climate change. When I think about hydro, what we can offer is firm capacity at a very, very low carbon footprint. And that will contribute significantly to the security of supply. Today, hydropower is already, I think we should not forget, producing 16% of the world's power. So that's a huge source of clean power that we're already producing with hydro. And then there's another niche of hydropower, or niche is something called pumped storage, which is basically a giant natural battery. And that is the only available long-term duration energy storage solution that we have today. And that's, I think, what makes me very, very excited. And I think that's where hydropower can really play a big role.
When we talk about hydropower, though, in the context of renewable energy, it has perhaps a less high profile than, let's say, wind or solar energy. Why do you think that is? Is it because of its reliability, or because projects can be sometimes controversial when it comes to the impacts they have on the land?
I think, honestly, it's because hydropower is something that has been a given. Hydropower is probably the oldest form of power generation that we have. So I think we're taking this a little bit of for granted across the world, that it's there. It's been there for tens and sometimes hundreds of years. So I think that's given the profile of hydropower, therefore, is in some countries pretty low, because it's just taken as a given. I think with the energy change, or the energy transition that we need to go through now in the future, I think that profile of hydropower needs to be highlighted again as something which can very significantly contribute to the energy transition, and fundamentally to mitigate climate change.
Let's talk about COP27. We're coming to the end of this climate conference. What's your sense? Do you think there'll be enough movement on key issues?
I think there will be. I think there's always movement. Whether there's enough is always a different question. But I think fundamentally there is a movement which we cannot stop towards a much cleaner and CO2-free future. When it comes to hydropower, I think what we need to have is that the policymakers really help us to find better ways of financing these hydropower stations, and also making sure that through hydropower we can have very steady revenue streams, which basically enable these power stations and make them bankable. And last but not least, I think it's very, very important also that we trust, or we are supporting the hydropower sustainability standard that the hydropower industry has developed over the last 2 years with NGOs and other partners, stakeholders, that we really are very much making sure that when we install hydropower, we install it according to the principles of fully sustainable hydropower that we set out in that standard.